Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Chodesh Tov, Rabbi Sai. Today's shir, like last year, is sponsored by Mishin Nechnas Adar Misimcha. Okay, fine. I know what I'm saying. I got to move it up a little bit. Okay, fine. Rabbi Sai, I'm very excited about today's daf. Don't worry about time. Tomorrow night, Motzei Shabbos, we're going to have a regular 2-hour shir, and we'll catch up on everything that we're behind today. Today's shir is going to be Gishmak. Oh my gosh, I can't say that. I forgot. All right. So I started printing out a list of outlawed words and topics so that I can keep track of what I'm missing. Oh, the right side, left side. Okay, here we go. So one, no jokes about my wife. No jokes about my kids. Can't say the word Baba Maisa. God forbid I should say the word P-I-G. Can't say Gary anymore. It's Gershon. Can't mention Shlomi Klein anymore. Can't say Gishmak. And the worst of all, no anonymous. Anonymous is the worst word you could say here in this year. So I'm going to keep that sheet. But all right. Anyways, today's daf, in seriousness, we're going to be talking about Kesher Mekabel Tuma. I probably have not told you guys this. This is probably the first time. But I think this is the most talked about sugya in all of Shas. I'm telling you, you probably haven't heard that from me, but it is. I'm very excited about it. All right. Anyways, we should be on Amud Beis by now, but no mashaneh. Let's read one quick email. Dear Reb Stefansky. I can't read stuff like this without crying. Whew. All right, I want to thank you all for such an amazing shir. I haven't picked up a sefer since I was learning with the malach in my mother's womb. My whole life, I was a total amaritz. But thanks to you, Rav Eli, it's only 99 years later, I'm making my first siyum. I mean, 99 years, this guy's incredible, guys. It's awesome. I'm going to try and read the rest of this email. I'm going to try and get through it. It's very emotional. This has truly changed my life, blah, 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 too long. Okay, here we go. I really love the shir, but this sponsorship thing has gone way too far. The turning of the daf, the official mishnah, the parnas Chodesh. Then there's the merch. We got the bobblehead dolls. We got the jackets, the bumper sticker, the picture frames. Where does it end? I don't get it. What was that, Avi? My collar's out? Oh, hang on one second. Well, speaking about merch, hang on one second. This. We have official MDY collar stays for those time when you're awkward time, when your collar's sticking out of your jacket. MDY collar stays now available, $99.99 for a set of 2. It's really gishma. I can't say that again. Anyways, at the end of the day, guys, you've told us enough time. The only gift you really care about is that we all would bring. Exactly. Another bottle of Grand Vin. Not that Petit Castel garbage, and make sure it's the big bottle. That's what I really care about in terms of giving me shears. Touching my shear once, he got something on his face, it grossed me out. So I do this all the time. Sorry, it's just very... Anyhow, but I know it gets, I know you couldn't do it alone, but there are so many people involved, and it gets confusing who does what. So if you could put together a chart of who does what in the shir, that would be incredible. So we have, I used to call him Gary, now it's Gershon. He is the video guy, sound guy, tech guy whose salary keeps getting doubled. Then we have Nachman, who tells me what word I missed, and he's the backup singer. We have Menachem Mata. I don't know why he gets 2 names, but he does. He is both the leaning and shtaching me guy. We have Little Tzaltzer, who sits upstairs. I'm not really sure what he does up there in the balcony, but it must be something important with the screens and the cameras, I don't know, but there's a lot going on upstairs there. Then we have Avi, who handles all the anonymous donations. We have Yosef Biliak, who makes scenes disappear. Noam, who's our esrog salesman. We have Yosef Erman, who's my body double. And we have Yossi Klein, who's a stress reliever. And finally, we have the chief Kool-Aid maker, Yoshua. All of you guys who are old enough to appreciate that joke, it's very funny. Young guys, I'll explain it to you after, but it's very funny. All right, Chevra, we have 2 minutes. I got to keep this going. But speaking about choshev people in the shir, one person I would love to meet is the CEO himself. You know, everyone is taking, Yoel around like the Satmar Rebbe. But as a Stefansky, I have to one-up everyone. So what I decided is every time I go on vacation, I'm going to take Yoel with me. So when I'm taking my private plane I have here, I'm going to take Yoel with me. When I go skiing, I'm going to take Yoel with me. And by the way, notice last year I was a bit of an amaritz, but now I have tcheles when I go skiing. And finally, of course, it wouldn't be the same without Yoel. Next time you go to the safari, again, with the Chelis this time, we're going to bring Yoel with me. Yoel, every vacation, I'm going to one-up everyone, you're coming with me. Back to the email. He's not joking, by the way. Back to the email. I don't want to be a PIG, but I would love for you to reshare that kutach recipe, thinking about making it for Rosh Chodesh. So, remember, what you need is spoiled bread, and this is terrible, and I don't even want to open this thing, because this is going to be gross. Oh, there we go, spoiled milk. Oh, that's terrible. All right, and then we got the salt on the bottom here. Hang on one second. This is my favorite recipe. And finally, oh, I forgot. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. The way the recipe works is it's 2.5 cups of spoiled milk. Whew. But in Panovich math, that's 2 plus a half. So just don't forget that. And then we have the teaspoon, and then this is mamish, a maisa kemacha haya. When I was in Munkach, not only did we eat this kutach, but we would add peanuts, and it's crazy, to the very top. And we would cut the peanuts in a very, very special way here. Okay? You got to be careful there on the top, and then you do that. Yeah, you want to be very careful. And then the very top, you just take that off, a little bit of the top, and you peel that back, and then you stick the peanuts in the kutach. And let me tell you, it's really, it's something else. It's this munkach kutach. Maybe that's why my father pulled me out of that shir in the yeshiva. Anyways, I almost forgot. I have my right hand, Sammy, from last year. I take tochucha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'akol niyeh bidvaroi. From your biggest fan, Anonymous / Kalman. Yosef, you know what? Delete the last 10 minutes. Have a great Adar. A lot of props, by the way. A lot of props, by the way. You got to up it every year. It's harder, you know? This is for you. This is for you. Enjoy. I know what I'm saying. It's a lot of work. Hold on.
Wow, Yishkoyach Jonathan Stefansky. Beautiful. I was crying in laughter. I don't know about you guys. That's it. Can't talk about Panovich anymore. Can't talk about anything. Wow. We are very much related. Very much. We're second cousins. Li'ilu nishmasimi merasi rusvas Mordechai. Afreilchen Chodesh. Chodesh Adar. Unbelievable. I had a lot prepared. I don't know what to take off now. You know what? We had a nace yesterday. We made up 26 lines. We're going to have to make up.
That's a good idea. Right now.
No way. Sponsored by Michael Leichter. In honor of those who drive Lexuses in the Holy Land, those who lose 39 pounds with intermittent fasting, and the Great Hillel Komiansky. Perfect for Rosh Chodesh Adar, anonymously, by Kalman of the 5 Towns. Zoicha, in honor of my wife Orlene. Happy birthday, Hebrew birthday today, first day of Adar. So I will skip the emails. Hakoras HaTov comes first. And this is not a hint that the Olam should buy me special wine. The same guy that bought that wine, David Holder. Yesterday, at the door, I have to say this. Why? Because this is going to get to everybody. There's a place called Prohibition Pickle in the Gush. And it came a package with pastrami, with pickles, with herring, with... It's a funny place. Not whitefish salad, it's called. That's the name of the salad. Not whitefish salad. Murdica stuff. L'cover Rosh Chodesh, we discussed this. On Rosh Chodesh, you're supposed to eat something special. Tomorrow also, make sure you guys have your wife buy some amazing stuff. I didn't taste it yet, but Be'ezer Hashem, tomorrow. So Yishkoach David, the reason why I'm saying this is everybody owes David a Hakoras HaTov. You too, it's you should have seen the simcha on my wife's face. Not a hint to buy from Prohibition Pickle or wine or anything like that. Of course, this is going to keep me going for a month. A month. So Yishkoyach David, everybody owes him my Hakoras. But today is a very, very special day. I cannot jump into the Gemara without mentioning today. 1,095 days ago, which is exactly 3 years, we started this year. Now, we didn't start in Rosh Chodesh Adar, but in the non-Jewish, we started 2 days ago, which I missed. We don't have Yeshua here. I wanted to show you the real quick picture. This is the day we started this year. It's a tremendous day. Here's Ruvain Chait, who's with us here today. Here's Yeshua, who's in America stuck. Chaim Kornbluth. The person taking the picture is Noam Fix. So, real quick, we have to say this Maisa. I know we have to learn today, but I'll say Bekitzer Nimratz. I was looking for a way to make my learning more consistent. It wasn't very consistent. So I came up with this idea to give a shir, have people come to my house. I gave chont and schnitzel on Thursday nights, and that would force me to learn better. And the idea was to give a synopsis of that week's daf, the entire week in 45 minutes. That lasted, I don't know, maybe a year and a half. I don't even remember. Nachman Seltzer was there the first day. Noam Fix was the first one to come through the door. And it was actually a big mechayev. I would travel a lot on business, go to America, and always make sure to be back for Thursday night shir. And from there, the shir developed. One day, the guys came over, Chaim Kornbluth, some other guys, Noam might have been there, and said, maybe you should give a Daf Yomi shir. And we started on Monday morning, on Daf Chav Ches of Avodah Zarah. Reuven Chait was there, in middle of a sugya. Daf Chav Ches of Avodah Zarah just opened up this morning. It's not a beginning of a parak, not a beginning of a Masechta, obviously, and not in a beginning of a sugya. It was a middle of I don't know where we started from, in the middle of a sugya. And the idea is that when you have an inspiration, you jump. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. You go with it. So Baruch Hashem.
The first night in your house, that first chant Thursday night.
Yeah.
You asked me to speak.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
What I said.
Really?
Inspiration. I'm a vino happy. That was the whole bar.
Nachman Seltzer spoke at the first Sikum shir, and from that came that's where the idea of the 8-minute daf grew, because they said instead of doing 45 minutes, 7 daf, we'll do 1 daf a day, 8 minutes. Okay, so here we go. We are holding, today is daf Pei Gimel. And Baruch Hashem, we got Benes to the bottom of daf Pei Beis Amud Beis. No, am I making that up? Yeah. Okay. And somehow we need a tremendous nace to get to the end of Pei Gimel Amud Beis. But it was well worth it. The Kovet Purim. We learned in the Mishnah. I know I'm missing something. Okay, whatever. This email, etc. Okay. In the Mishnah, we learned that if the owner of the current Pesach became Tameh or died, to Ubar Tzurasai. It's a concept of waiting to, don't burn it right away, wait till the following day. Comes Rabbi Yochanan Bracha, it says no. You burn it right away. So, yesterday we had that the machlokes is when the Bailam became Tameh before the Zrika, because if they became Tameh after the Zrika, everybody agrees that you do Ibur Tzura. You wait until the following day. Now, Rabbi Yochanan Omar, and that's how we finished off yesterday with Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan Omar, Afla Achaz Zrika Nami Machlokes. Rabbi Yochanan says, there's still machlokes. In other words, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika will say, burn it right away, even though you don't do this Ibur Tzura thing. V'az Rabbi Yochanan Tamei Dom Rabbi Yochanan holds. Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika, which is a Tana, Rabbi Nechemia Amru Dover Echad, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika Hoda Amar. Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika is what we just mentioned the second, that even after Zrika, you finished all the Avodah Shchita, Kabbalah Elach, Zrika, and then the owner becomes Tameh, you burn it right away. You don't, now, we said yesterday, there's a distinction between a psul in the animal itself, in the carbon itself, and a side psul, like the owner, Shalom Aleichem, new faces, Rabbi say, on Sunday, starting Sunday, Monday, please send in your Ishurim, your passports that you got 2 shots, or that you went through COVID, and we're starting to bring more people to the Beis Medrash Beis Hashem. So don't forget to send it in to Noam, to Yosef, whoever it is. Okay. Now, if we already did all the avodah, the carbon is great. There was a zrika, the carbon is good. And then the owner became tamei afterwards. After the zrika, what is that? That's a psul, a side psul, nothing to do with the carbon. Nevertheless, Rabbi Yochanan says, burn it right away. You don't wait until tomorrow. You don't do two bar tzurasa. Rabbi Nechemia Mahi, so where's Rabbi Nechemia? The same Rabbi Nechemia Omer. He's talking about a HaTov of Rish Chodesh. Remember this whole story with Aaron HaKohen and Moshe Rabbeinu. There's a whole discussion in the Torah back and forth. Today's Rish Chodesh. The Rish Chodesh HaTos. Moshe Rabbeinu says, why in the world did you burn it? I told you not to burn it. You're supposed to eat from it. Did you bring the blood inside? No. Did you take it outside? No. So why'd you burn it? Says Reb Nechemia, I'll tell you what happened over there. What happened was, Nadav and Avihu died that day. So Aaron HaKohen was a Einan. It was the day of the Ptira of his sons. So he couldn't eat it. Who were the Kohanim in those days? Only them. So he's like, I can't eat it. I can't eat it. They're dead. So what am I going to do?
He had two other sons.
Okay. Now. Huh?
He had two other sons.
I know, the Einan.
Also, they couldn't.
Everybody's Einan. Now, if he was an Einan, why could he do that avodah? How could he perform that avodah? Because he's a Kohen Gadol. Kohen Gadol can perform that avodah, but he can't eat. B'bnei Aninas this is rezu. L'kach nemar ko'ela. You're right, ko'ela. Well, once we're here, we got to say the story with the Menachem Mateh. I already threw myself under the bus yesterday with the Lexus. I only got one nasty comment. What you're talking about? But it wasn't Mendy Friedman. The last name wasn't Friedman. Nah, I'm kidding. He wasn't so mad. He was just stalking me. Anyway, so I'm saying the story tonight that nobody does this and nobody. It was before I started giving Daf Yomi. Back in the bad days, he was sitting in the shul. Menachem Mateh is an unbelievable kairi. He never makes mistakes. Every 2.5 months he makes a mistake. Maybe. I try to pretend there's a mistake. But one thing he likes to do is irritate the tzibur. So for instance, katainti, the whole world goes katainti. He does katainti. It takes the whole time out of everything. So I was waiting a half a year for this occasion, and he's about to do ka'ela. And ka'ela, the whole shul, we have a very colorful shul. Everybody loves to sing. It's a ka'ela like you never heard before. Makes all those videos a joke. 10 milliseconds before the Olam screams out Ka'ela, I scream out, Ka'ela. And he started laughing. The Balkoyer himself started, he couldn't go weiter. So Mela, fine, but this is not the same Ka'ela. This is a different Ka'ela. Ka'ela. Aaron Kohen is saying, look, I'm an Oinan, I can't eat from this. Va'aninos, so what's the point though? Va'aninos kilach is rika havya. Aninos, even though in this case, the aninos happened before the zrika, Rashi says, but it's something that has nothing to do with the carbon. The carbon is 100% a kosher carbon. The kohen has a personal problem in his family. Somebody died. That's not in the carbon. And you see that they burnt it immediately. So what do you see? That in a case where the problem is a side problem, you still burn it right away. So that's Reb Nechemia says, like Reb Yochanan and Breika. Now we're holding where we're supposed to be holding. Daf Pei Gimel. All right. We just have to finish this Amud in 5 minutes and go really slow on Amud Beis. Rabba Moisef, Rabbi Yossi Haglili. So Rabba says, I have another Tana, which Rabbi Yochanan doesn't bring. And the Gemara is going to explain why you forgot to do this, Jonathan. Where's my piece? Where's my piece? That's a big fashla. Come on, Jonathan. I'm very. Is it over here? Is it over there? Let me pull it out. Oh, I bet you the Bachrim took it. I don't know. It's really not here. I have like 3 extras and they're not here. Okay, Shir will go real slow today. You know what? I could use this. It's not a problem. A what? MDY. Or maybe the bobblehead. We should use the bobblehead, I think. Fine. Rabba Moisef Af Rabbi Yossi Aglili. The sign Rabbi Yossi Aglili Mekola Inyan Kuloi Einu Medaba Ela Beporim Hanis Rofim. Look at this. Oh boy. It's already mixed up here. You didn't do that part. Here we go. V'chol chatos asher yuva medama. I hope this is the pasuk. Eloel moed lechaper bak kodesh loy seyochel. All the chatois that come in into the kodesh don't eat. B'ishti saref. Different than what you learned yesterday. The same pasuk. Cholei Yisrael kulai. This whole inyan, this whole pasuk. In Medaber Parman Israfim. Now there are two types of chatos. One chatos goes inside pnim, inside the heichal. That's very rare. That's a chatos of parhelim davar, kohen gadol, very rare. But it's inside. Every other chatos is shechted right over here on this side of the mizbeach, like a regular, typical carbon. That's chatos chitzayna. So, who's that? Oh, that's Daniel's son. Refuah Shelayma to Refuah Moshe ben Dina Bracha. They're running now to the emergency room. Okay, everybody have in mind for Daniel's son. So, the Chatas Pnimis says Rabbi Yossi Aglili that that's what the pasuk is talking about. El Apar Manis Rofim Ubisir Manis Rofim. These are the Chatas Apnimi. Where do you burn it? Lisroi Psuleim Abeis Habira. Where do you burn it? This word right over here, Bakodesh. Typically, you take the chatos. If you have to burn a chatos, a regular chatos, you take it outside of the machnos, the three machnos. Here, go back to this picture. Remember the machnos? You have to take it outside of all the machnos. Over here, burn it over here. Not this special chatos hapnimi. It's burned bakodesh. That's what the pasuk is coming to tell us. Here, loy seyachel. You can't eat it. Okay. So two things we learn from this pasuk. But based on what we said yesterday, that this pasuk is talking about a regular chatos shenichnas dama lefnai lefnim minayin. So how do I know chatos chitzayna, the outer one, the regular one? How do I know that if you bring the blood inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim, here, Kodesh HaKadoshim is right in this area over here. You have to go through the heichal to the end, you get the Kodesh HaKadoshim, but it's inside. How do you know that you have to burn it? Look, the whole famous story with Aaron HaKohen, we just went through it. Moshe Rabbeinu asked Aaron HaKohen, did you bring the blood by any chance inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim? Meaning, if he did, okay, he has a good reason why he burnt the blood, he burnt the chatos. Miklal dinofaki, inami ayel dama b'sreifa. If you took out this chatos outside of its walls, or you brought the blood into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, b'sreifa. Okay, you see from Aaron HaKohen and Moshe Rabbeinu. So I don't need a pasuk. The pasuk remains for the chatos hapnimi. Where do you burn it? In Kodesh. The bottom line is, this blood, the blood, we're talking about a cup of blood. So you have an animal, the steak. You have a cup of blood, and you brought the blood into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. What does it basically say? You have to burn it. So here's a case that the psul is not in the animal. The psul is in the blood. Yet, you have to burn it. Rabbi Yochanan says, Rabbi Yochanan, how come I didn't bring Rabbi Yossi Aglili as one of these people that say that if you have a side psul, you burn it immediately? Rabbi Yochanan said, the blood and the animal, part and parcel, it's the same thing. It's part of the carbon. It's not a side isser. Yeah, you're right. Right now it's in a cup, but it's part of the carbon. So you can't bring a raya that if the owner, Bailam, you can't bring a raya that if there's a psul in the owner, that the owner became tamei, that you also burn the carbon right away. That's blood, and blood and a carbon are similar, a lot more so than the owner and the carbon. Brand new Mishnah. The bones of the carbon Pesach, the sinews, all the blood vessels, all these kind of gross things, left over from the carbon Pesach. When do you burn it? Well, noiser, obviously, you can't burn on the 14th. It's not noiser yet. Noiser only becomes after the time of eating the carbon Pesach, after chatzos, in the morning, right in the morning. Yisroel b'shisha asar. What's the day after the 14th? The 15th. Even in Panovich, we know that. You don't burn on the 15th. Why not? Because it's Yontif. On Yontif, you can make a fire to eat, oichal nefesh, but you can't make a fire to burn a carbon. So when do I burn it? B'shisha asar. On the 16th. Chal shisha asar liyos b'shabbos. Reuven, that's the little that I was telling you about. Chal shisha asar liyos b'shabbos. If the 16th falls out on a Shabbos. Now, obviously, if you can't push off a yontif to make a fire. You can't push off a Shabbos to make a fire to burn the carbon. Yisrafu b'shivasar, then you burn it on the second day of Chol Hamoed. Why? Lefisha ein doichen loisa Shabbos loisa yontif. Great. Real quickly, there's a very famous, but it's kedai to see it again in writing. Lo adu roish v'lo bedu Pesach. Pesach cannot fall out on a Friday. So how in the world is the following day a Shabbos? The Mishnah says, if the first day of Chol Hamoed, in Eretz Yisrael we're talking about, if the first day of Chol Hamoed is Shabbos, they have to push it off the second day of Chol Hamoed. But Pesach can never fall out on a Friday. And therefore it can't fall out on the first day of Chol Hamoed can't fall on a Shabbos. Oh, okay, so that's one of the answers. After the calendar, maybe before the calendar, it did fall out. Okay. Just wanted to point it out. I mean, the Rishonim talking about, look at the Rabbeinu Chanal on the side. He discussed it. Okay. Omar Rav Mori Baravu Omar Rabbi Yitzchok. Atzmis Kodoshim Sheshimshu Noisar. There's a halacha that Noisar is metamid yadayim. You touch Noisar, your hands become tummy. So, Avi, Mamish, I thought you were here forever. Shalom Aleichem Avi Gargir. Also one of the first people in the shir. Not day one, but very, very close to that. Atzmis Kodoshim, welcome back from the whole Corona Maisa. Atzmis Kodoshim Sheshimshu Noisar Metamis Hayadayim. Where's my bag? Don't tell me I forgot my bag at home. Ugh, I think I did. Did I bring a small little bag here? No, I left it. You know, I think where I left it, right in front of your house room. When I was doing the computer, I might have put it down for a second. If there's is there a Svarim bag anywhere in the base measures? Gershon. All right. No, there's a little bag. Oh, let me show you. I brought a bone with me. I wanted to show you what a bone looks like in case nobody really. It's by your door? Reuven Chet says he opens up his door and he finds a bag with a bone in it. He couldn't figure it out. Now he knows. No, I was giving him a video that I recorded yesterday for the 8-minute daf, right before I was going to share. So, shkoyach, Reuven. So you know how hard it was to remember to take the bone out of the freezer and put it in the refrigerator and put it in a bag and take the whole matzah. Okay. And I ran to the butcher shop to get the bone. Let me show you. It wasn't meant to be. Do not get it. Now, the bone of any animal or any human being has bone marrow inside. That bone marrow is edible. That bone marrow is considered food. And that food becomes noisar. It's leftover food. You left it over the lot of time. You should have eaten it. Now, when it comes to Korban Pesach, how could you eat it? You can't eat it. How do you get to it? You have to cut the bone open. You're not allowed to cut a bone of the Korban Pesach. Okay. The exterior part of the bone, you don't have to burn. It's not edible. You don't have to burn. But you do have to burn it. Why? Says the Gemara, any carbon that has the bone marrow inside, it's part of the carbon. That bone marrow is noisar. It was left overnight. Left past its allotted time. Let's say take a carbon chatas that you're allowed to eat part of it, and you're allowed to eat it for 1 day and a night. You left it for 2 days. You have to burn that bone. Why? Because inside the bone, well, we don't know why. So it says over here, metamis yadayim. It gives tumah to the hands. Hoyel v'nasev basis l'davar aser. Amazing halacha. The bone, the exterior of the bone, carries the bone marrow, and the marrow is davar aser. So it makes sense. You have to burn it. Says the Gemara, maybe I could bring a raya from our Mishnah. You have to burn them. Let's do the math. If there's no brain inside, well, not brain. If there's no marrow, throw it in the garbage. Well, you can't really throw it. It was there for mitzvah. You have to treat it maybe like tzitzis that you put in the garbage can, but maybe wrap it up nicely, put it in. Okay. This bone marrow. And that's why you have to burn it. Now it makes a lot of sense. Why do you have to burn it? Well, because it served the purpose of noisar, and that's why you have to burn it. That's why you need sreifa. Says Gemara, but if you disagree with Rav Yitzchak, that it's nothing. Well, it served. There was the bag that contained bone marrow, so that's why you have to burn it. Lamo Sreifa. Nidberinu. Break it open. V'nechaltze l'mayach didu v'nisrefei. Break it open, remove, scrape out all the bone marrow, burn that part, but the actual bone, throw away. Why? It's very difficult to burn bones, I guess. Elav, shmamino, shimush noisar milsahi. Great. By the way, riddle. Why was my friend's grandmother on Pesach? Every Pesach came along, she couldn't talk. She had a burnt mouth. You know why? I saw over here, literally, this is a discussion, believe it or not. You see from over here, what about, shouldn't the bone be usher to throw away? Isn't it boileya when I roast it? It should absorb some of the carbon pesach in it. You shouldn't be able to throw it away. There's a whole discussion. Ramah says, in fact, it does absorb, it doesn't absorb. So then they go into discussion, amazing discussion, L'Kavod Purim. What about, what are they called? Dentures. Dentures made out of bones. Do you have to put them in Hagolas Kalim? So I was just picturing to myself, this grandmother, they told her you have to do Magal Kalim. So she put her whole mouth with, she took boiling water and she did Hagolas Kalim to her teeth, to her dentures. Some people say you have to. You have to do Hagolas Kalim to your dentures. Bas b'chalav, chametz and Pesach, great. Depends what the material is, obviously. Your own teeth, you don't have to, because even if they do absorb, they're part of your body. Akol upon him, says the Gemara, we don't have time for these jokes. We have to go weiter. Milsa, can you imagine the grandmother? They told her halacha, she's making on the halacha. Hagolas Kalim. She has to stick her whole head in a boiling pot of water. I don't know where we're holding. Should we start from the beginning of the Amud? Amri loy lamem loch shimush noisar lav milsa v'kasavar boy. It says in the pasuk. Where's that pasuk? Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, here we go. This is the pasuk. Ve'etzem loy sishburu boy. Isser deraisa the break. We have to remember this. It's coming up in a month, right? Jonathan, you missed the Ikarim. A lot of Ikarim. You got a lot of good stuff, but it's coming up in a month. In a month and a half. And we have to know not to break the bones. Very, very, very difficult to isser. So, since it says boy, but what's the word boy? Be'etzem loy sishburu boy. Says the Gemara, bekosher. Because of our boy, bekosher v'afilu b'pasol. The reason why I can't break it open and toss out and separate the marrow from the bone and throw out the bone is because I'm not allowed to break the bone even after Pesach, even the following day, even when it's possible, even if it's nicer. When I'm eating the Karban Pesach, I just roasted it. Be careful on the Seder night. Be careful not to break it. What about tomorrow? You could break. No, he holds that you cannot. Machlokes, he holds you can't. Afilu b'pasol so gedaita. Frek the Gemara. Afilu b'pasol so gedaita. You had such a havamina that even when it's noisar, it's the following day, you can't break the bone. But nan, it says in the Mishnah. Avala moiser batar. If you leave over tar Pesach, v'ashoyever b'tamei, or you break a bone that's tamei. Ein esevik zabarim. In other words, when the bone is not edible, it's tamei. You don't get malchus on it if you break it. Says the Gemara, lo kashya. Kan shoysel shasa kosher. In the Mishnah, if it has a moment where it was edible, so then that Isser remains even after the allotted time. If, let's say, the animal became tamei before Zrika, so it was never edible, so then the bone doesn't have if you break that kind of bone. You have a behemoth that became tamei before the Zrika, you break the bone, you're potter. Who's this Tana that says such a distinction? Rabbi Yaakov. The Sanya v'etzem l'sishbru boy bekosher v'leiv pasol. So the Tana Kama says a statement. What's the pshat in the statement? First of all, the words. The isser of breaking a bone is only in a kosher animal, not in a pasul animal. What does it mean? Rabbi Yaakov Omer hoysel l'shasa kosher v'nifsal yesh b'mishum shviyas etzem. If for one moment it was edible and you broke a bone, you're over the Isser. If it was tamei, so it was never edible, it never had a shasa kosher. You see, Rabbi Yaakov holds this. Now, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, Rabbi Shimon Omer, echad zeh v'echad zeh, not true, I argue you. If it's pasul, I don't care if it had a moment that it was royal achila, not a moment, at the end of the day, it's possible. Meisvei. Kol atzmois hakadoshim ain't sreifa. Think about it. What about a typical bone from an animal, from a carbon? I bring a shlamim. Do I have to burn it? Do I have to burn that bone? Is there noisar? Do I have to consider the bone marrow, who a lot of us don't eat, most of us maybe don't eat? Do I have to worry about it? Is it considered noisar? It says over here, Kol atzmois hakadoshim ain't sreifa. They don't. You don't have to worry about it. Chutz ma'atzmis ha'pesach. Mipnei ha'takala. Concerned, you're going to break a bone, so you have to burn it. Says the Gemara, what's going on here? If all these karbanas, they don't have marrow anymore, why do I need to burn it? Yeah, of course it has marrow. And if you say that using the exterior part of the bone, the hard part of the bone, is a problem, the exterior of the bone is holding on, is within it. There's the bone marrow, and that's edible, and I should have to burn all bones. Even if they don't contain the marrow. Well, they were there to hold the marrow when it became usur. You're right. A very, very far-fetched situation. You found a bone that is extracted. There's no bone marrow in it. The bone marrow is extracted from it. So it never helped the noisar. It was never there to contain the noisar. The noisar part, the bone marrow, was gone. What? Where am I? Oh. When we're talking about a regular carbon, that there's no problem to break the bone. Before it became noisar, that's when he extracted the bone marrow of so it never helped that noisar. But when it comes to carbon pesach, you're not allowed to break the bone. Now Rashi points out immediately that this is going according to Reb Shimon, that you're permitted to break a Pesach bone after the allotted time to eat it. So, since Atzmis HaPesach, a bone from Korban Pesach, that's also to break typically, but after it became Noisar, then he broke it open. He wasn't over, so we're not talking about a Rasha. He broke it open because today it's already Noisar, and now I just want to burn the bone separately from the Noisar part. So I remove the Noisar. I'm not over Isra according to Rabbi Shimon by breaking it open the following day. But at the end of the day, it contained the bone marrow. So since it contained the bone marrow, we had a tremendous chiddush from Rabbi Yitzchak. Anything that contains Noisar is Matam the Yadayim, and you have to burn it. Rabbi Zvid Omar. We're turning to Daf Yomi Beis, sponsored by Kesher Nafshi, Zchus, for the struggling kids in pain of Cholei Yisrael, for the Refuah Shelayma of Cholei Yisrael, especially for MDY family. We just got on the screen. Daniel's kid is rushing him to surgery. Especially from our MDY family, please consider joining MDY Tehillim group at tehillim.8mindaf.com. Says Rav Zvid Amar he's mechulik on Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Very, very similar teretz, but a little different. He found a bunch of piles of bones, let's say. At the top of the pile, he found umehem chalutzin. He saw that one or two were in fact broken open, bone marrow removed. Now, they explain that this goes according to Rabbi Yaakov. This is going that it's also to break a bone. So there's no nafkamina between before it became noisar, after it became noisar. We're talking about a guy, shake it a little bit, he breaks bones of Korban Pesach when he's not supposed to. Now, all he's saying is that Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak was of the opinion that all the bones have to be wide open. You see that they're all cut open, all the marrow is out. Otherwise, you would have to burn it misafik. Rav Zid says no. I don't have to burn a pile of bones misafik. It's a very far-fetched suffix. Even if it's there, no, it's not a big deal. As long as I have a sample on top that shows me that the bone marrow was removed, I don't have to burn the rest of the bones. I don't have to check the rest of the bones. It's not my problem. Burn the whole pile. That's what he says. Look L'kulu havachol etzluhu. Most likely, he removed all the marrow, v'achalu, and he ate it, v'lei ba yisreifa, and therefore it's not necessary to burn this pile. As is a Pesach, you have to burn. You have to, says Rav Zvid, you have to check the entire pile. The Yeshmem Shum Shviras Hatzim. This is an issur to break. Dilma hani dechaltzinu, ulanach lo chaltzinu, uba yisreifa. So we're talking about a minor shegit. He breaks some bones, not all bones. You have to be concerned that maybe the rest of the pile, he didn't break the bone, he didn't extract the bone marrow. Memela, you have to burn the entire pile. Omer Rabbi Yehuda Rav, Kol hagidin basar. Says Rav, a major yisoid, all sinews and blood vessels and that sort of stuff are considered part of the Korban Pesach, says Rashi Liminuyov. Meaning, I have a group of people, my lamb only has 10 pounds of meat on it, that's it. So I give a kazayis to each person. Comes another guy, says, I want to be part of your group. I say, okay. But all I have available right now are sinews. Sinews are part of the animal. You can be part of my group. That's what Rav says. Kol hagidin basar, they considered meat so that you can register on my carbon. Chot megidei tzavar. The cervical ligament, the Adar calls it, is very, very difficult to eat. It's like wood. Eating wood is not part of the Korban Pesach. Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah, what kind of ligaments are we talking about? Sinews. Eli megidi basar dichlinu. Why shouldn't he eat it? Vidi toisar. So he didn't want to eat it. He forgot to eat it. So what is that called? Noisar. What does it say in the Mishnah? Atzamois gidin noisar. It can't be that the Mishnah is saying the same word twice. Gidin that are noisar. It says noisar already. Elab shita gidit tzavar. So the Mishnah is saying another chiddush. Excuse me. There are the ligaments of the neck, and those also must be burned because they're not edible. Now, it makes a lot of sense if you tell me that they're edible. That's why I have to burn it. But if you're telling me that these neck ligaments are not meat, why do you have to burn it? So we have a number of answers here. Why do you have to burn the ligament in the Mishnah? If it's not edible, it's a neck ligament, why do you have to burn it? The answer is, we're not talking about a neck ligament. What are we talking about? We're talking about the sciatic nerve, the Gid HaNasha, the famous Gid HaNasha of Yaakov Avinu. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, here's a picture of the Gid HaNasha from the Klall Shan. There's different pictures. When we're learning Chulin, we did a different picture. Here it is. This white thing is Gid HaNasha. Sciatic nerve. So sciatic nerve you can't eat. But it goes according to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, I don't know what leg the sciatic nerve is. I have a suffix. It makes sense to me, says Rabbi Yehuda, it's on the right side. It says, Hayamin, Hayerech, Haymiyumenes, the special leg, the special hip, the right one. But I don't know. So if I don't know, could I eat the left one? No. Could I burn the left one? No. Maybe it's food. Maybe it's a Korban Pesach. I can't just burn it. So what do? I leave it over and then I burn it later. This Gid HaNasha, only on one of the two legs, hips of the carbon. But that's machras and it's logic. Shel Yamin, it's the right one. Fine. So based on this, that's why, you know why I have to burn it? Because I have a suffix. It's edible, it's very edible, but I'm not allowed to eat it, burn it. But there's a side problem here. Because the Gemara in Chulin didn't know, did Rabbi Yehuda mean there's an actual suffix and I remain in a suffix? I don't know if it's right or left. Or Rabbi Yehuda meant it literally. The sciatic nerve is on the right side. It's a svara, I know for a fact it's on the right side. From here, you see from this Gemara, he didn't make up his mind. He wasn't sure, right, left. And since he didn't know, memela, that's why you're not allowed to eat it. And you can't burn it, and you have to burn it because you can't eat it. Says Gemara of El Tivshoit, there's a Pugim Sapka. From here, you see that there's an actual suffix. If he knows for a fact that it's the right one, so the left one you should be able to eat. With the Yisur and Shadya. And the right one, throw it into the garbage. It's not food. It's not that you have noisar. The Torah told you, doesn't allow you to eat it. What happened was, Rashi points out, you don't have to be a scientist to know what right and left. Every kid knows right and left. Okay, so what happened was he had a right and a left, and then they got mixed up in a pile. Now you can't eat either one of them because you have the suffix. So it's a special case that they got mixed up. We're talking about the fats of the Gid HaNoshim. The fat of the Gid HaNoshim D'Oraisa, you could eat. This white stuff, you could eat. So what's the problem? Klall Yisrael, accepting upon himself a chumra yisera. That's why you burn it. So you're burning something that's edible. Midoraisa, you're allowed to eat it. You burn it. Why are you burning it? Because we took upon ourselves the chumra. Ravina Omar, that's not a reason to burn. Bechitzoin, we're talking about a real isser. There are two sciatic nerves, a chitzoin and a primi. Here they are. If you could see them. There's one, this is the chitzoin, the outer one. The one that's this guy right over here, primi, you eat this. Doesn't really look the same as the first picture of the Genosh, but this primi one, you get malchus if you eat it. Asr. This we're talking about is the Rabbanon. Not a minhag. You hear what he's mechulak on? You can't take a minhag and say gebraks, and I'm going to burn the gebraks. You can't do that. That's not right. You can't burn some chumrah that you made upon. I have a chumrah. I don't eat turkey or whatever it is. I don't eat. It has to be part of the carbon. I have a chumrah. I don't eat the backside of the animal. Right? We have a chumrah, but you can't burn it. That doesn't give you a heter to take the meat that the Sephardim eat, and you're Ashkenazi, you burn it. It's kachim. But if you have an Issa the Rabbanon, says Ravina, that's different. All right, fine. We could stop here because this is a brand new sugya, flows into the next sugya. Have a wonderful Chodesh. A good Geben Shabbos. We'll see you on Motzei Shabbos, Be'ezer Hashem, at 8:20. Let's push it off 5 minutes. 8:20 this week. Kacha. Shir Amalois Markim Krasicha Adonai. Khas Kalman Tivoy. Kivis Adonai Kivsan Nafshi Tivoy Cholti. Nafshi Adonai Shemuna Boy. Yechai Yisroel Adonai Gimel Chesed V'Arbei Mechudus. Jonathan, beautiful job. Yishkoyach. What? Yeah.
What do we got here?
Come.
Yeshua,
Hold on, let me.
We missed you.
No, he's supposed to tell you, Jonathan, you did a great job.
I like this shear. It's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Oh, good to see everyone.
Hold on. Here you go.
What day are we up to?
What?
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Which one? Of the wood? No. What? Why is that noise, sir? That was tummy. Right? That was what it did? Yeah, it becomes tummy when if it's a small part that becomes tummy. It's a big part, but it could be. What happened? What do you need? I think they want you here. It's not a dafka, but it's the same mission, no?
Where were you? This is your fault. This is your fault. Why didn't you bring someone, Yoshua? Just because you're there means that your job's over?
One second. Can both of you guys take a picture together? Of course we can. We need a side-by-side picture.
Who's going to take a picture?
I have it right here. Here we go. I have a selfie stick. Right here. Look, right here.
No, stand together. We need you to stand.
I'm standing.
You're going on now. You guys are like identical twins.
We need Yossi. Your body though.
That was beautiful. It's a lot of work. Yishkoyach. Well, how do you? As I'm saying, you jot it down, or it just comes. If
He wears a colored shirt. Usually the guy you put him on.
huh? I got the Kool-Aid joke. I got it. I got the Kool-Aid joke. Pouring that Kool-Aid. Listen, if anybody got it, I got it. For me, it was very funny. Shkoyach. I saw from his face, Nachman Seltzer, when you're doing the peanut, I saw right away he was not at that cheer. That was Geval, no? Do you know that I did a whole bris milah here? No, because there's a the little thing like the Olam loved. I said it with such a serious face. Come on. What? Which the one? Oh, the. Come on. That was a classic. Yeshua, you think, Yeshua, if you were in Eretz Yisrael, I'm not going to let you talk. If you were in Eretz Yisrael, Noam would whack you across the head. And that's why you take advantage. You think you're away from here, and Noam doesn't have the ability to literally smack you physically, so you say whatever you want. That's what you think. Chutzpah. Mamash a chutzpah. I come here struggling. I have to print all these things out. I have to print them all out on Motzei Shabbos. All these. Oh, here's the thing. I found it. No, but he might quit the shir. We had a few guys this week that quit the shir because Gary muted them. Gary, why are you muting people? They're very upset. Rabbi, I appreciate those who took one for the team, and Gary's busy muting everybody. Then he's not busy with me. He's busy with me. He plays music in the middle. Why did you play music in the middle? Why did you play your video? Stop. But you do that every day, mistakes. I said I don't want to come back to this finish because of those mistakes. He said, I promise, Eli, I promise. Great mood today. Rabbi said, great mood.
Eli, if Gary keeps muting people and they drop off, then it'll take longer till you have to go stop. So that might be a good thing.
It'll be easier. Shlomi will take credit. Shlomi will take credit for the people that he'll just go to take the... Oh, I forgot about that. We reached 4,000 subscribers today. Unbelievable.
That's only Cholei Yisrael. You can have the Bangladeshi guy snack cruise.
You should have seen. No, it used to be. I don't know if you remember. Yeshua used to talk a lot after shir. Noam sat him down. He gave him whatever he had to give him. I don't know if it was like a pill or whatever. It worked, mamish, until he went to America. Now he's in America. He's like a loose cannon. Noam, could you do something about this?
You know any doctors in Chicago that can medicate him?
Yeshua, Noam, why are you declining Noam's calls when he calls you? He's gone. That's it. He's completely quiet. You saw that? Just the threat of Noam. That's it. He's quiet. He's gone. Oh, he's back.
It's Adar. Noam's staying on lane.
What do you guys think about Jonathan's piece? Noam, did you like Jonathan's piece?
Jonathan's amazing. He only gets better, like wine. He gets better and better.
What was your favorite line?
I don't know. It was all
Touch.
I was watching you, Noam. You didn't crack a smile the entire time.
I was afraid that he's going to spill that kutach all over the table.
I know.
When he gets to that bottle, I was getting scared.
I like the peanut.
I know the peanut was, and then here's the craziest part of the peanut. I look over at Nachman Seltzer, and he's like this, and I was like, is he making a macha, or he just wasn't at that chair? He wasn't at the chair. He just wasn't there.
That same for perm, you got to take out the sign from the Matzan. I won't be back. I hope we can take it out for perm.
You're not going to be there for Purim. Come on.
It's 2 weeks. Anyways, I go to be good.
Oh my goodness. You know, my sister got on a flight, and my brother-in-law, they said, listen to this, my sister was born in America. My brother-in-law is an Israeli. They look at the two of them, and they say, you could get on the flight, but you, the husband, my brother-in-law is an Israeli. We're not sure you're an Israeli. You stay here in America. So he missed his flight. He's in America. The mamish Rishayim, like they split the two. But it worked out well for me. It worked out really well. My brother called me up and he's like, listen, the crazy, our cousins are not making it back. Your brother-in-law, it's a good thing you didn't come, whatever. Okay, fine.
Now you believe doesn't make sense, this whole lockdown. It's so crazy. I'm joking. Government rules. Don't listen
listen to them.
The Lakewooders are talking.
They're on power trips.
Rabbi Isai, has anybody seen Yoel Bergman? He was on. What about, 1 minute, what about Kornbluth? Anybody see Daron Kornbluth?
He's on the other day.
Yeah, you saw him? I haven't seen him in a while. Okay. Yeah. Has anybody seen David Factor? Anybody see David Factor anywhere?
I heard he's in outer space.
He's in space.
He's the first one to go on that Tesla ride.
Oh, hold on a second.
Wait, what did you think of the picture I sent you?
Me? You sent me a picture? Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I saw, compared to the hand, it looks massive, but is it really massive?
They're ropes. They're $300 just for the tzitzis itself. They're like tzitzis ropes.
That's the newest Mishigas? People. By the way, that in Tchelis would be $1,000 because it's much more Tchelis dye.
They're so big. Iraq, it's good that you're joining us for that after series too.
Yeah, David. What's up, David?
Sadly, you're not allowed to break the bone, but you said that you have to eat the inside, and because of venosa, and it says venosa excess.
David, you forgot the main part of the shir. Remember the shir from a year ago? You forgot the main part. The part that you're not allowed to ask questions after shir. You forgot that? On Zoom also you're not allowed to ask. Oh, he's mamish a Talmud Chacham. Mamish a Talmud Chacham.
Ellie, isn't there a school with the bone for a zivug, for a shidduch?
The bone of a Korban Pesach?
No, the bone from the kara.
Oh,
Boy, that's looking for a shidduch. You hide it in his pocket or something.
really?
Yeah, check it out.
Mordechai Sapazlik.
With the Chatas
With which one?
the Chatas Apnimi.
What did I say?
It goes into the Kodesh Kodashim. The Kodesh Kodashim there means the Heichal. Nothing goes into the Kodesh Kodashim.
When did I say it goes into the Kodesh? No, the blood. The blood goes into Kodesh Kodashim. The blood brought the blood into Kodesh Kodashim. You sure I said Kodesh Kodashim? The blood.
Nothing goes inside.
I know, but Aaron HaKoyen brought the blood into. He asked him, "You brought the blood into Kodesh Kodashim? That chatas? Did you bring the blood into Kodesh Kodashim?" I never said that the chatas itself went into Kodesh Kodashim. Why would I say such a stupidity? Are you sure?
Maybe not.
I really don't think so. I know that you don't bring a chatas and Kodesh. Nothing goes into Kodesh Kodashim.
I have to correct myself. It's not Yoel's mother, it's a sibling that's on watching. Corrected me on the chat.
You made a correction in the beginning.
But ask that sibling to show their face for a second. I want to see that sibling's face. If they're going to say it's a sibling, I'll be Michael. I just want to see a picture of the sibling. Unless the sisters are watching.
Exactly.
Just says it's another child, I should say. It doesn't say who.
Rebelli,
Yeah.
you have to clarify in the beginning of the share about you're talking about your Tezvav, your Zion, about the what's Nishar, and you said it's only but talking about Eretz Yisrael. It wouldn't be Negei Chutz La'aretz if it was a Korban Pesach.
Yeah, you're right, but I kept on saying, when I was saying Chol Moed, I didn't want the Olam in America to be confused, and I was saying 16th in Chol Moed. I don't want Chol Moed is the 17th, so I just stuck that in. Now we're talking about in Eretz Yisrael that Chol Moed is the first day, like a day after the first. It's hard for an American to picture the Chol Moed the next day, so I threw that in. Not that the Korban Pesach could be in America.
Yeah, we get to talk to Israelis daily apparently.